What if I told you that a plane, declared dead by its own creator, is quietly being prepped for a second chance at life? Not just any plane. We're talking about the biggest passenger aircraft ever to touch the sky. A flying mansion. A beast of engineering. And now, one airline is making a $20 billion gamble to bring it back from the grave. Why? Because they don't believe in letting legends die. Let's take you into the bold, almost unbelievable journey of Emirates, who might just resurrect the mighty Airbus A380. The year is 2021. Airbus delivers the final A380, closing the chapter on what was once the crown jewel of long-haul aviation. For most airlines, it was a farewell they were more than ready for. The A380 was too big, too heavy, too expensive. It just didn't fit the future. But Emirates, they didn't flinch, they didn't scale down. While everyone else rushed to retire their superjumbos, Emirates doubled down. Right now, they operate over 100 of these giants, more than every other airline combined. But why? Why hold on to a plane the world has seemingly moved on from? Because one man doesn't believe the A380 story is over. His name? Sir Tim Clark, the president of Emirates, and a man who sees opportunity where others see scrap metal. Clark's not suggesting a few cosmetic upgrades. He's laid out a radical proposal, a completely reimagined version of the A380, a rebirth, a revolution, the A380neo. When Airbus responded that such a project would take a jaw-dropping $20 billion to develop, Clark didn't blink. His answer, if you build them, we'll buy them. But before you roll your eyes and call it madness, let's break down why Clark might be onto something, why this crazy idea might actually work and change aviation forever. First, we have to face the elephant in the sky. Why did the A380 fail in the first place? When it launched in the early 2000s, it was an engineering marvel, a double-decker aircraft with space for over 800 passengers. It was supposed to redefine how we travel. But four massive problems dragged it down. One, it was absurdly heavy, 1.2 million pounds at full load. Two, it had four fuel-thirsty engines that made it a flying gas guzzler. Three, its massive 80-meter wingspan made it compatible with only a limited number of airports. And four, the world was changing. Airlines started favoring smaller, more efficient twin-engine jets that could fly point-to-point rather than hub-to-hub. These weren't quirks. They were fatal flaws. So how can Clark possibly think he can rewrite this ending? Because aviation technology has come a long way in the last 20 years. When the original A380 was being built, carbon fiber composites were a novelty. The plane still relied heavily on heavy metals. But today, aircraft like the Boeing 787 and Airbus A350 are made with up to 50% carbon fiber materials, lighter, stronger, and far more fuel-efficient. Clark's vision is to rebuild the A380 using these modern materials. He even wants to reduce the size of the tail fin and completely redesign the wings for better aerodynamics. Folding wingtips, like on the 777X, could make the aircraft more airport-friendly. And then, there's the biggest game-changer of all, the engines. The original A380 ran on engines designed in the 1990s. Powerful, yes, but outdated. Now imagine powering the aircraft with something radically different. Enter the Rolls-Royce Ultrafan. This isn't just another engine. It's a leap into the future. With over 87,000 pounds of thrust, this beast isn't just stronger, it's smarter. It uses a geared turbofan design, which allows every part of the engine to run at its optimal speed. It features composite fan blades, heat-resistant ceramics, and, wait for it, 100% compatibility with sustainable aviation fuel. Clark believes this single change could cut fuel burn by up to 25%. Now pair that with a lighter, more aerodynamic airframe, and we're talking about a jet that could compete with the most efficient wide-body planes today. And here's the twist most people don't see coming. The passengers love the A380. Sure, it's a giant, but it's also an experience. Emirates has turned the A380 into a luxury hotel at 40,000 feet. First-class suites with sliding doors, an onboard lounge where you can sip champagne, showers, yes, literal showers in the sky. Even in economy, the seats are wider, the cabin is quieter, the ride smoother. In a world post-pandemic, where travelers crave personal space and premium service, the A380 doesn't just check the boxes, it obliterates them. So now you're probably wondering, if it's this amazing, why didn't everyone else make it work? Because of money. The original A380 cost around $445 million. That's a price tag that demands full flights every single time. Most airlines just couldn't take the risk. But Emirates, they made it work. In 2023 alone, they operated over 100 A380 flights every day across 6 continents, with up to 615 passengers per flight. In a 2-class setup, they're hitting seat-mile costs that rival even smaller jets. And if the new version is 25% cheaper to run, the economics start making real sense. Add in the fact that Emirates already has the infrastructure in place: dedicated hangars, trained pilots, spare parts, and specialized gates. And suddenly, keeping the A380 in the family becomes way more efficient than starting over. But here's the real kicker. There's an actual need for larger aircraft again. Many major airports are maxed out. JFK, Heathrow, Tokyo Narita. They physically can't add more flights, so the only way to grow is to fly bigger aircraft. That's where a reimagined A380 fits perfectly, packing in passengers without needing more takeoff slots. Even the environmental argument is shifting. At first glance, a 4-engine jumbo seems like a climate disaster, but on a per-seat basis, a full A380neo, powered by ultrafan and flying on sustainable fuel, could produce fewer emissions than flying 2 smaller jets. Bigger, it turns out, might be better for the planet too. And yet, even with all these reasons, reviving the A380 program would be a monumental task. When Airbus shut down the line, they didn't just pause, they dismantled it. Tooling was scrapped, engineers reassigned, supply chains gone. Starting over would mean building everything back from scratch. Airbus says it would cost 15 to 20 billion euros. And unless multiple airlines sign on, it's tough to justify that kind of cash. Right now, only Emirates is all in. Others, like Lufthansa, Qantas, and British Airways, are holding back. But if even a few major players with heavy long-haul traffic commit, things could shift fast. So let's ask the million-dollar question. Or maybe the 20 billion euro question. Will the A380 actually return? Today, it exists only in sketches and vision boards, but the signs are promising. Demand is climbing, especially in Asia-Pacific and the Middle East. Engine technology is breaking new ground. Airport congestion isn't going away. And travelers, they're craving comfort more than ever. Maybe it seems impossible, but remember, the Wright brothers were mocked for believing humans could fly. Boeing nearly bet their company on the 747. And Airbus? They once took a wild chance on a massive double-decker plane and built the A380 in the first place. Sometimes Progress starts with the people crazy enough to say, what if? And when Airbus joked about the $20 billion price tag, Sir Tim Clark didn't laugh. He didn't negotiate. He looked them in the eye and said, if you build them, we'll buy them. In a world of safe bets, that kind of belief isn't just rare, it's revolutionary. So now, it's your turn. Do you think the A380 should rise again? Should Airbus take the risk? Or should the superjumbos stay retired? A legend lost to time? Drop your thoughts in the comments. And if you want to see more deep dives into the biggest bets and boldest ideas in aviation, make sure you hit that subscribe button. You won't want to miss what's coming next.